زدن آتیش دیدی؟
The warning sirens in Tehran had barely fallen silent when the next mystery unfolded. An F-16 fighter jet slicing across the Mediterranean, flying low and fast, and reportedly piloted by a woman. The trail was faint. No official confirmation. But the signal was unmistakable. At least one of the American warplanes involved in the opening phase of the strike on Iran's nuclear infrastructure had been flown by a female pilot. A precision strike, launched without a declaration of war, has now become the most controversial American military action in years. But beneath the noise of bunker busters and geopolitical chaos lies a deeper question. Was this just another mission, or the beginning of something far more dangerous? Why did the US move refueling tankers into Europe days before the attack? Why did female pilots spearhead one of the riskiest missions in modern warfare? And more urgently, what happens next, now that the US has taken full ownership of the sky over Iran? In this video, let's piece it together. The first sign didn't come with explosions. It came with silence. In the world of military intelligence, the most dangerous operations aren't announced. They unfold beneath radar, tracked only by those who know what to look for. Over the course of 72 hours, at least 30 KC-135 Stratotankers, the backbone of US aerial refueling capability, lifted off from air bases across the continental United States. Their transatlantic movement was fast, methodical, and strangely quiet. No press releases, no media briefings, just squawk codes blinking on global radar systems as the aircraft refueled mid-route and made tactical landings across Spain, Scotland, and England. To the average observer, tanker flights don't scream war. They carry no missiles, no troops, no television-friendly optics. But to military analysts, this movement was seismic. Tankers are the enablers. Without them, fighter jets can't stretch their legs across oceans, and stealth bombers can't reach buried nuclear facilities without stopping for breath. The appearance of these tankers in Sicily and Crete signaled something deeper, a pre-fuel grid being quietly constructed for a massive air operation. What made this even more ominous was the simultaneous disappearance of satellite images showing B-2 stealth bombers stationed at Diego Garcia, a remote, secretive island in the Indian Ocean often used by the US for precision strikes deep into the Middle East and Asia. Just days before, satellite shots showed bombers on the tarmac. By the time the tankers reached Europe, they were gone, vanished, likely airborne. Then came the oddities. 6 of the tankers had no listed destination. That's not an error, that's an intention. In the language of military ops, no stated destination often translates to classified mission underway. And when every plane seems to be flying east, toward the Mediterranean, toward the Red Sea, and ultimately toward Iran, there is little doubt where the clouds of war are gathering. Even senior analysts like Justin Bronk at RioSum called the deployment highly unusual and highly suggestive of plans to support intensive combat. But this wasn't just about fueling planes. It was about constructing a sky corridor for war. A quiet, ghostly conveyor belt of fuel, designed not for defense, but for forward aggressive strikes. Every piece pointed to the same chilling reality. The United States was preparing to own the skies, and Iran's nuclear bunkers were about to meet the wrath of American engineering, lubricated by invisible gas lines stretching across continents. So, at exactly 2:43 a.m. Tehran time, the skies above Iran shifted, not with sound, but with impact. Operation Midnight Hammer, a classified joint strike campaign, had begun. Without warning, radar signals jammed, satellite networks scrambled, and above the Iranian cities of Natanz and Fordo, 2 of the most heavily fortified nuclear sites in the world, the US unleashed one of the most technically daring assaults in modern warfare. The B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, long gone from Diego Garcia, had reappeared above Iranian airspace, invisible to radar, untraceable to satellites. And from their bay doors fell the GBU-57 AB massive ordnance penetrators, 30,000-pound GPS-guided giants engineered specifically to punch through 200 feet of reinforced concrete. These weren't mere bombs. These were bunker assassins. Before we continue, here's a reminder to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos on current affairs and the changing world order. Let's continue now. As the bombs descended, U.S. Navy submarines in the Persian Gulf launched Tomahawk cruise missiles aimed at secondary enrichment facilities and suspected underground research labs. This wasn't a warning shot. This was a surgical decapitation of Iran's nuclear aspirations. And yet, as the dust settled and global news outlets scrambled for details, a new, unexpected detail emerged. One of the pilots involved in the strike was a woman. It wasn't part of the Pentagon's announcement. In fact, there was no official announcement at all. It slipped out during a press conference when Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, referring to "our boys in those bombers," was promptly corrected. Moments later, both Fox News and the Associated Press confirmed the presence of at least one female pilot on the mission. That revelation exploded across headlines. The sheer symbolism of it was stunning. A woman flying one of the most dangerous missions in modern warfare, soaring silently into enemy territory, delivering ordnance powerful enough to destroy a mountain. It flipped the narrative. In a landscape dominated by male aggression, her presence became the most powerful image of controlled defiance. But it also raises questions. Was this inclusion intentional, a quiet nod to progress in a moment of war? Or was it accidental, a side story swallowed by the enormity of war? Either way, her presence shifted the cultural optics of the mission. Operation Midnight Hammer became more than a military event. It became a collision of war and representation, a paradox where gender equality and geopolitical annihilation crossed paths. And yet the mission's success remained unclear. Iran claimed minimal damage. Trump claimed total destruction. Somewhere in between was the truth, buried under craters and classified reports. But one fact was certain: the sky strike had happened, it had been deliberate, devastating, and historic, and a female pilot had flown through history's deadliest air corridor to prove it. Later, in classic Trump style, the president didn't hold back. On Truth Social, he bragged, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran." He added that the U.S. knew exactly where Iran's supreme leader was hiding, but they were holding fire for now. What he didn't say, but what was clear from military deployments, was that this wasn't a limited strike. This was the start of total aerial dominance. U.S. warships repositioned. B-2 bombers vanished from radar. British jets were sent to the region, and air defense systems in Israel, Qatar, and Jordan went on full alert. Trump's choice of words, unconditional surrender, marked a dangerous pivot. Iran, reeling from Israeli bombardments, was now facing a two-front aerial war with the full weight of U.S. precision power bearing down on its nuclear skeleton. Inside Iran, confusion reigned. Official statements minimized the damage, but Tehran's streets told a different story. Sirens wailed. Gas stations overflowed with panicked drivers. Traffic jams choked every road out of the capital. Human rights activists reported over 450 deaths, far more than the government's stated 224. Meanwhile, Iran retaliated by firing missiles at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the largest U.S. base in the Middle East. The missiles were intercepted, but the intent was clear. Iran wasn't backing down. Israel too struck again, this time targeting Evin Prison, known for housing political prisoners. France condemned the move. Amnesty International warned that these strikes might constitute war crimes. The fog of war was thick, but one fact remained: Tehran was under siege, and the U.S. was no longer hiding its hand. And in the middle of an escalating war, the world learned that a woman helped pilot one of the bombers that targeted Iran. It wasn't just a historical milestone, it was a weaponized message. Female pilots have flown combat missions for decades, but to include one on a mission of this magnitude was a calculated signal. The face of war has changed. With the USS Nimitz now shadowing the Persian Gulf, and more U.S. and British warplanes arriving by the hour, the question isn't whether escalation is coming, it's how far it will go. There are talks of peace, but nothing seems certain. Iran is cornered and increasingly erratic. Satellite imagery shows Iranian forces moving assets underground and deploying mobile launchers near civilian zones. This isn't a declared war. There is no congressional authorization. Yet the skies over Iran are filled with American aircraft, Israel is striking regime targets, and Iran is retaliating with missiles. This is a war in everything but name. The Biden administration may be gone, but the strategy of plausible deniability has remained. Trump doesn't need approval, he has already struck. And with each hour, the chances of this evolving into a multinational conflict rise. Turkey has warned of regional instability. Russia has called the attacks reckless. China has called for peace. In the middle of it all is a female pilot in an F-16, her jet refueled by a tanker plane that left Nebraska 5 days ago, her destination logged as unknown. It may not be the final shot, but it's one of the most symbolic yet. What do you think? Why is the United States using female pilots to fly over Iran? How are you seeing the war unfolding? Share your thoughts in the comment section on whether the United States will continue gathering intelligence over Iran or sending fighter jets to fly over Iran. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get more videos on the latest news and updates about politics and global events. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.